Jos Buttler has come into this tournament with such a bad form in Test cricket.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to yet another episode of our special IPL show, Straight Bat with Mr. Cricket UAE. With me, I've got Mr. Anis Sarjan, the Mr. Cricket UAE himself, and our cricket enthusiast, Sahil Sarjan. Now, since this is a double header and there could be supporters of more than two teams logged into us, I would like Anis Bhai to just make a small announcement of the competition that's also in progress, which is now 7-8 day old, before I throw my first question to you.
Good evening, Gautam. Hi, Sahil, and good evening to all the beautiful people of Gulf News. Yes, the competition is every day we have a match, either one match or two match. You need to predict the winner, and you walk away with the beautiful apparel kit, which is a track T-shirt and a cap, and go and support your lovely team, rather your favorite team, and that's what you get logging on to Gulf News page.
Great. Okay, now this back-to-back double headers. So the IPL has really warmed up now. First match now Rajasthan 2 out of 2, then Gujarat, surprise of surprises, 2 out of 2 again. So we have So I'll come back to you about Jos Buttler. I mean, the kind of the bat flow is such a lovely. I mean, he does the same damage, but he looks aesthetically far more pleasing than I would say somebody like a Gale. I mean, no offense meant to Gale. How do you rate his batsmanship, Anis bhai?
You know what? Jos Buttler has come into this tournament with such a bad form in Test cricket. But somehow when he is in this white ball, rather pink T-shirt of RR, and especially when he plays the Blue Boys of Mumbai, he gets into form. If you see the record of Jos Buttler, is almost 100% against Mumbai. And today's inning, as you mentioned, there was no slogging, shots which were really jaw-dropping and treat to watch. And his innings laid the platform for a big score, and 193 on a dry wicket. I would not say a dry wicket, but on a day wicket where the spinners come into play was too much for Mumbai to chase down.
Right. Well, the Mumbai, I mean, the thing is, there were a couple of loopholes in that Mumbai squad. I mean, now is it like somebody's worst fears of a Mumbai team coming true? See, the newcomers like Anmol Preet and all are good, but Rohit has now failed to fire in 2 matches consecutively. So whom do they do to rely on? I mean, Kieron Pollard, when they had the Pandya brothers, used to come at 7 or 8. Now he's coming at 5. What do you feel they need to do?
Well, let's accept the fact, like when they went in the auction, they bid too heavily on Ishan Kishan and Jofra Archer, who's not going to play. Ishan Kishan has been doing the job. Now, obviously, Rohit Sharma will have to make sure that he also gets some runs so that they get that score. He did manage to get that start in the first game. But having said that, without Surya Kumar Yadav, they look a bit timid in the depth. Today, even though Tilak Verma played an outstanding knock to give that depth into the batting. But Surya Kumar Yadav is definitely required so that Pollard can probably come and do the finishing touch, because definitely they are missing the Pandya brothers.
Right. Well, we move on to the second game now. I mean, this was a far more fascinating game because we were hoping that how much when they ended up, when Gujarat ended up at 171, we thought that may not be exactly a par score here. But firstly, what was fascinating was the batting of Shubman Gill. I mean, he had always been a class act, and he just played 6 dot balls. So has he done something to his batting? What struck you?
Yeah, I thought Sahil take this question.
Yes, Sahil.
Yeah, but Shubman, we've seen him. He's got that classy touch in him. Like, we've compared him to Virat Kohli back in the day. Now, see, Shubman Gill is not a slogger. He likes to time the ball. He takes his time. But today he was, like you mentioned, 6 dot balls only. He's played brilliantly. And this is how he should develop his T20 game. I remember when he was playing for KKR, he was criticized a lot in the start. Like he used to
Right.
start slow, but now this 84 is an improvement, and that shows that he's working on his T20 game.
Right. Yeah. And Sahil, another question to you. I mean, two games will whether when Hardik Pandya came on to bat, he has been coming at number 4. He's taking that responsibility. When he has come to bowl, he shared the new ball, possibly looking at the wicket. So, what do you think about his attitude? I mean, I think he is looking quite good. It's still very, very early days, but he's looking good with his game, with his fitness.
I mean, this is a change of role for him. You know, he was a number guy, used to come at number 6 or number 7. Now he's a captain of a team, and now he's coming at number 4. This is a huge change, and so far he has played really well. He's batting with a lot of maturity, and he's bowled well today. Clearly, you saw 3 overs 22 is a good stat. So he's done well as a captain, and he's playing with a lot of maturity, and he's not made bad decisions on the field. So credit to
Right.
him, really. He's done well.
Right. I'll go back to Anis Bhai. Hardik's captaincy in particular, what do you think about it? The decision to bring himself on instead of going with Shami and Lockie, looking possibly at the wicket which would suit his kind of bowling. What do you feel, Anis Bhai?
And you have to give credit because it has come off, and when it comes out, it looks good. But to be very honest, without taking anything away from Pandya, it was brain freeze by Delhi. They were cruising. They required probably in 54 of 36 balls with 6 wickets in hand. And the only danger man from the opposition was Lockie Ferguson, who was actually bowling thunderbolts. And the first ball of his second spell, rather Rishabh Pant played an indecisive shot, whether he was first wanted to duck, then he pulled it. And the pace was such that it carried to the fielder. And after that, also, they were in the game. You can say that a couple of boundaries hit by Akshar Patel, and you lose one more wicket. I mean, the run rate required was not too much, but the problem was they lost too many wickets. And at one stage, it seemed that they will cruise along to the victory, and then they collapse. And then you lose by 14 runs, which is a big margin. So you have to give credit to Pandya and his captainship, and to none other than the guy, Lockie Ferguson, who turned the game on his head. To be very honest, he really bowled quick. And for me, he's the man of the match for today's game, as much as Shubman Gill played an outstanding knock.
Right. But what is so special about Lockie's bowling? If I ask you to break it down, because even in the UAE, I mean, where wickets were tiring in the second part of the IPL, we saw the games that he got, he made a difference. So is there always a room for quick pace along with, okay, of course, the slower ones or the cutters that he bowls? What do you think, Anis Bhai?
His biggest strength, obviously, is pace, and the pace is 145, 147. So it's not easy. And he surprises you with that bouncer where he cramps you for room. Like if you see the shot which Rishabh Pant played, he didn't know what to do about it. Similarly, Prithvi Shaw, the ball came on, hurried onto him. And if you talk about the dismissal of Akshar Patel, he was cramped for room. So he tried to flick it away, but there was not enough time. So that is what is his biggest strength. And don't forget, he has that slower ones and the cutters which he bowls where you are not able to, read him. I cannot forget him for a very important semi-final where he lost to them in the Manchester, where also he bowled very well. If you remember the wicket of MS Dhoni where he got run out, he hurried onto him, and Dhoni was on the back foot. Okay, now that's too far. 2019, I'm going back, but that's the thing. He is over in that crucial 49th over or 48th over which he bowled to MS was one of the crucial points, and that is why Lockie Ferguson for me is a good bye by Gujarat Titans.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yes. I mean, so to do pretty different kind of games, but fascinating games today. Again, another round of double headers coming up. We have got, this time. What is your expectation of Chennai for tomorrow?
This is for me or Sahil?
No, I think I'll come to Sahil to wrap up. Yeah.
Okay. So
to you.
You know what? The best thing today was that both the captains who lost the toss, especially Sanju Samson has won both the games, and Pandya, he won the first game winning the toss, and the second game he lost the toss. So today the tide somehow changed. So out of the 10 games, we've had 3 games going with teams batting first. So the ratio is still 7-3. Otherwise, it was just win the toss, bat first. So I'm glad the bowlers have come into play.
Proved wrong. Yeah.
Yes. So it was like what we saw in the Chennai game, like, the difficult to hold the ball with the dew. And I'm glad the bowlers have turned it around. You have to accept the fact, dew or no dew, either you put up a big total and bat the opposition out, or if your bowler got few runs on the board, you ensure that you take your catches. And today, let's accept the fact that both the teams held on to the catches, and that's the reason they are won. There's no excuses for it for losing a game now.
Right. I'll come to Sahil. Sahil, again, like there are two games tomorrow. I mean, it's still early days. First round of back-to-back double headers. What's your take? I mean, who would be your favorites in the two games tomorrow?
Tomorrow it's CSK versus Punjab, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow is only
CSK
one
Punjab.
game, if I'm not wrong, Gautam. Being a Sunday, surprisingly, they have kept one game only tomorrow.
Right.
CSK versus
Okay.
Punjab.
So CSK versus Punjab. That's right. Yeah. Right.
I'm
So,
gonna
so what do you think? I mean, Chennai yet to log in points.
tough choice. I think I'm gonna have to stick with Punjab Kings, as much as I have a slight attachment to Chennai, but I'm gonna stick with Punjab Kings tomorrow for sure, because they have some world-class players in them.
Right. And another thing, Sahil, see, we haven't spoken about it much. I mean, Gujarat Titans, once again, I keep saying possibly like a broken record that early days being such a big tournament. But, there is an advantage if you're an underrated franchisee, and they're really capitalizing on that. The batting hasn't been tested. Today, of course, Shubman anchored the innings so very well. And then finally, there were some late charges, but they've got people to do it. I mean, they've got a Tewatia. So how far do you see them going? Now you've got a little more faith on them?
It's too early to say for now. I mean, it's just been 2 games. But yeah, of course, they have decent players, and they don't have like high profile players other than Pandya, Rashid, Shubman. And now Tewatia is now going to be a high profile player one day. But
And Lockie.
Lockie, I mean,
Lockie.
I still there is a lot of hope for them to reach top 4 for sure. Not because they won these 2 games. There's hope.
Right. I mean, to sum up, before I close this, I think what the performance of Gujarat Titans and Lucknow Super Giants in the last game have shown, I mean, this could well turn out to be an open IPL, the 2022. Once again, early days, we will see how it goes, and we look forward to another cracking game tomorrow, and hope that maybe Chennai is finally able to log in their first points. So that's it for today. Wishing all a good night to our readers and browsers. Thank you for taking part in the event. It's the first day of Ramadan. Thank you for your time.